Alrighty guys, welcome to another live stream. Today we're going to do some Bitcoin live price action here. Give me a second here to get sorted and then we'll get going. Alrighty, so here's Bitcoin on the daily chart. To me, things are pretty straightforward right now. If we want this and this to be an actual lower high, we need to run back up to this monthly open. I would say personally in the next couple days, if we don't take out this monthly open, things could get pretty ugly and we'll run back for this low. So that's kind of my play right now. As long as we can hold above a couple of the levels that I'll show you here shortly, then we must take out the monthly open. If we fail to do that, this is the target. Sorry, one sec here. It just says the audio is a little off. Alright, I think we're good. So now let's do a zoom in and see what's going on. So yesterday I gave a couple ideas. When I made my stream yesterday, we were at, I'll show you, a volume profile of this sideways range. So on yesterday's stream, when I ended yesterday's stream, we were right here. And I gave a few scenarios saying if we lost the POC, target 1 was the 786, target 2 is the liquidity grab, and then we had another 786 and more liquidity down here. So we hit 2 of the targets and we've now came back to hit this target. So I'll get rid of yesterday's. Let me clean this up. So I'm just updating the charts here for us. And you'll notice that I don't really touch this chart at all after my live stream ends with you guys. I will just leave this chart the same, so then we can come back to it tomorrow. So nothing has changed off this chart. So we're just updating it quick and then we'll do some live price action. Okay, got a POC there. Okay, now let's see if there's any local imbalances below us. So we'll start on the 1 hour. Let's see the 2 hour. 3. Okay, so you have a big 3 hour imbalance down here. Okay, nothing so far. Right here. So within this 3 hour imbalance, we have a 15-minute imbalance. $15, let's see, 12. A little bit of one here. This one I wouldn't hold too much weight on because it's not the best looking one, but we'll still mark it out. You have a 10-minute here. Okay, 10-minute. This is the last one that happened here. And you can see that we respected it so far, so we've held this. So I'm just gonna flip this one into green so we don't see all that. And now we're back to live price action, okay? Let's mark out this little tiny imbalance above. And for those of you who haven't watched one of these streams before, these red and green boxes aren't random long zones aren't random short zones. These are just supply and demand imbalances. Every time demand is taken, it is flipped into supply. Every time supply is taken, it is flipped into demand. The more demand that starts to fail, the more bearish things get. The more supply that starts to fail, the more bullish things get. The more supply is respected, that's where you could maybe prepare yourself for some downside. The more demand is respected, that's where you could prepare yourself for more upside. So that's all these levels are. Let's do, okay, so from my top-down analysis, I made a live stream the other day doing top-down analysis. So we're gonna put a few of those key levels. So we have a naked daily point of control. And then we have another naked daily point of control. Okay, it gives us some clear targets to the upside. That's range demand. Okay, so now we're gonna start doing high intense scalp trades. And all I'm gonna do through this stream is give a bunch of ideas. So I'm gonna give long setups, short setups. Every time I give a setup, it's 100% definitely not financial advice. I probably won't take a single one of these trades this stream, but every time I give a setup, so let's say I see an idea right here. Every time I give one, the stop loss is always above the high or below the last low that was created. So if I gave a long right here, it wouldn't have been down here, down here, down here. The stop loss would have been here. And if we shorted from here, the stop loss would be here. Just so we know, because this will be like high intense scalp trading. So just to give an idea of kind of how these scalp trades actually look, let's say you shorted, there is a signal here. Your stop loss is, they're very tight stop losses. You see how a 3-to-1 is, even if we just form another higher low, we can still hit a 3-to-1 trade. We can lose this thing in about 1 minute, but you can get yourself into profit very quick on high intense scalps and then mess with your stop loss however you see fit. If things are looking, if you're in a crazy bullish trend and you're counter trend trading, I always recommend that TP1 should be where a higher low is, because when you're in an uptrend, you need to expect a higher low is going to come in, even if it's a macro higher low or if it's a local higher low. A local higher low would just look like this. A macro higher low would look like this. So if you were to take a trade setup like this, you would want it, you would even want it a little bit better before you fill this fair value gap. So you try to make trade setups that you can trade any direction for the day, right? Okay, so let's see. Let's just mark out some liquidity. Okay, we're going to grab the volume profile of this whole sideways range, which as of right now is right here. Okay, now let's take a peek at just some larger time frames here for a sec. So right now, all I'm looking at is RSIs. I just want to see what the RSIs are doing, which is this red and purple or green and purple lines. So these RSIs bearish, bearish, bullish, 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 bearish, bearish, bullish, bearish, just flip bearish, bearish, bullish, just flip bullish, bearish, 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 bearish. Okay, so if we're trying to trade really low time frames, the low time frames right now are saying watch for a rejection here at some point. So if we were to drop to really low time frames, so here I'll give an example of the very first trade setup. If we come up to put a higher low or a lower high in, and you get the 5-second RSI flipping back with the 5-second red dot, that would be like a lower high scalp entry, and you would have a really aggressive or a really tight stop loss, sorry. And this isn't it until it actually gives you the signal. I'm just showing you how the trade setup could look if it did something like that here, right? So all we're gonna do this stream is put the line through it. So the 5-second right now is fully opening up, letting me know I'm not gonna be listening to the signal anyways. So we're actually gonna go back to the 10-second. The 10-second just flipped bullish RSIs. The 15-second is still bearish, saying watch for a lower high. So if we can see the 5-second dot with the 5-second RSIs flipping bearish, I would look to take a scalp entry on that signal. The only thing I don't like about this is the RSIs coming up, and that's why I wanted to wait for the RSI cross. So if this purple right here was coming down and crossing the green, turning into red right when you have the red dot coming in on market cipher, in a potential, like if this is price action, in a potential lower high, if this is happening here, those are really good trade setups. It's not right now, so just giving the idea. Okay, this is where you would watch for a lower high. Did the 5-second give the cross? It didn't, so we have to, there's nothing here for us. If you were getting the 5 and 10-second crosses, then this is where I would watch for that lower high, but you're not getting those, so we'll just sit on our hands here. Okay, the 5-second can flip back bearish whenever. The 10-second can too as well. Unfortunately, it's just happening too slow. If it would have happened at the same time, we would have looked to enter here. It's not, you're not getting those signals at the best time. And you see how when you're a scalp trader, we can find setups all day. So we just want to give ourselves the best chance. And to me, this wasn't the best chance just because those RSIs were lagging. If those RSIs weren't lagging, I'd be pretty confident that you're going to come take these levels out, but that's not what was happening. So still shooting for higher until I see something like that happen. Okay, you have the 5 and 10 second cross. If something is going to happen, you would watch for this lower high right here. If this candle can't get above this supply imbalance, this is where you would have the trade set up. Very high intent scalp trade. So there's the red line. Very high intent scalp trades. Remember, we didn't even take the liquidity at the top. We're just giving the only trade setups that we can see at the time. Your main indication of like kind of when you're going to lose something, like your very first indication is usually that 5 second. If your 5 second turns on you before like any of those bearish signals can really start flashing and stuff, that usually means you're going to lose the trade or get stomped out at break even depending how fast you move it. So if I took this short trade, what just happened? We put the level there. Is my stuff bugging out here? What the heck? Well, you guys seen where I put it on the chart? That's so weird that it disappeared. This is that supply we were saying. If a lower high, that's where we were talking right there. So I'm going to put the line back through, but that's weird that I don't know what happened, why it disappeared on us. And then here, since we're in still a macro uptrend, you can look to move stop loss to entry. I don't know if you pulled X amount where, but I just want to still show you guys how this setup would have looked, right? And we said this prior to the stream. So say this was our idea, the stop loss was to the high. You see how you could close right now at a 2 ratio and just be done for the day? You could just wrap the day up right now. Targeting the POC is a 3.7. You could close now a 3.7, target the lows at a 6 ratio, a 5 ratio. Hopefully these lines don't disappear. I've never seen that happen. Strange. Okay, so let's see. How do we know if this thing's going to get stomped out or when? Again, 5 second into the 10 second. So let's see if the 5 and 10 second RSIs flip. If they don't flip, we're good to go. Okay, 5 second just flip. Let's see if the 10 second flips. If the 10 second can't flip. And this is just where you watch, right? So let's say you're trying to, let's say you think the market's going to go back up to this monthly open, all the way up here at about 114K. This is when you would just start preparing yourself for saying, okay, RSIs are squeezing back to the downside. Let's watch for a bullish setup somewhere. So if I was watching for a bullish setup somewhere, the very first one is for sure just a local higher low, like local higher low, and go back for the highs. So this is kind of your first trade. Like to stay really bullish for the day, if you hold above this trend line, that'd be good, because then I would say you're going to go target these levels. You're probably going to come up target that naked point of control. If you start to lose this locally here this morning, what could happen is you could start to have change of market structures, which the main change in market structure would happen here. So you have a lot of protection before that happens, and we'll have a lot of clarification. If we can't spring here or spring here, then it would make sense that minimum you come take the liquidity, but more so probably head to that golden pocket. So I would say here is key. Like this trend line, are we going to put a higher low in or a lower high? Are we going to bounce here into a lower high? So how do we know that? The 30-second and 1 minute are saying there can easily be more downside here. The 10-second is just right on the zero line with the 15-second, meaning they can flip into the green whenever. But if we were to just kind of zoom back a little bit, the 30-second and the 1 minute are saying to hang out. If you're interested in taking a continuation long, a continuation signal is whenever you're above the 200 moving average and multiple time frame money flow agrees, you can take a continuation signal and your entry is the market cipher B dot. So an example here is the 30-second is above the 200 moving average and the money flow is still in the green, meaning I'm allowed to listen to the 1 minute continuation signal. This is the 1 minute continuation signal, still green money flow. To give ourselves even a better chance is the 2 minute. 2 minute, you didn't get the dot below the zero line, so it's not as important to me. So the main thing that I'm watching is the bulls are saying you need to take the high now or you're going to start to invalidate bullish signs. The RSIs are saying don't be surprised of a lower high or a bear div at the high. And like an example how you could play this, right? If you were interested up here and say, where was that? Yeah, say you were interested up here and you took the short and you already pull a take profit that covers everything. If you think we're running back for those highs, there's no reason why you can't look for a continuation long back up to this level off the 1 minute. So we didn't give that one in live time, so I'm not going to mark it, but that was definitely your 1 minute. Your 1 minute, continuation signal. And you see how zoomed in that is? Like, we were able to find a trade, and most likely a profitable trade, and what looks like to the average eye just not pretty well no movement at all, just sideways price action. So right here, what was the 1 minute telling us? The 1 minute is saying don't be surprised of a lower high or taking that. As far as can I get an entry from here? You can if you're getting the low RSI crosses. We have no cross on the 15-second, no cross on the 10-second, and a cross on the 5-second. If we were to be safer about this potential lower high, it's definitely waiting for the 10-second RSI to flip. If the 10-second RSI flips, I don't want to see it flip down here because then our stop loss is way too loose. But if the 10-second can flip by like here, then we could still have a really loose stop loss. A really tight stop loss. And targeting just the POC is more than a 2 ratio. Looks like that won't happen, but it wouldn't have set us up for failure anyways because we didn't get the signal anyways. Now we just watch for this liquidity. We're creating more imbalances below us. Okay, let's see, is there flip, all the RSIs just flip back bearish, you had a swing failure. If a rejection is going to happen, it's going to be from here. To me, this one is sketchy because just look at your money flow that's kind of creeping up here. Money flow creeping up, and then you have on like your 10-second, your money flow just came in. So if I were to take this short, like let's say I entered on where I gave you guys the line, this is one for me that stop loss is immediately to entry, because this is where guys start fueling into short positions. And if the short doesn't work, you get the massive breakup here that just liquidates everyone. So this is one definitely I would be putting stop loss to entry even now, and it might just seem too quick. But you see how we're on this demand box right here? Let's drop one lower. You see how we're at the demand box here? This needs to act as support and break us down, or this is going, or resistance and break us down, or else it's just going to be a mitigation of demand to continuation. So for those guys that just shorted, if you shorted on the line, you don't want to see mitigation. You want to see this flip into resistance here. So we need to break from here. You do not want to reclaim this POC, and you want to drop back to this level. So we can get better ideas if it's going to happen. All the RSIs are still bearish. All the RSIs are still bearish. The only thing that I would say can beat up on this short and make you lose the short is money flow, and then money flow will bleed that RSI over. RSI wise, the trade is saying you're good RSI wise. Money flow, that's a little bit, because look at your 3-minute here. Look at how much you have increasing money flow, but the RSIs look like crap. And this is where if you took that liquidity grab swing failure, this is like such a key zone for, I would say, minimum 30 minutes to a couple hours of the day is what's going on here. Because if all these RSIs get invalidated, that means increasing money flow will start on pretty well the majority of time frames. So if these RSIs, so if this doesn't reject here and we don't tank from here, you see how the 5-minute in the bottom right, you have increasing money flow. You're going to start getting the 6, the 7, the 8, the 9, and all these time frames start to roll over if you don't put a lower high or a quick bear div tap. We might not put a lower high, but we could put another bear div tap, which would be fine, but this would have to reject very quickly if that way happened. We can probably get rid of my scribbles here. So the main thing right now is this orange POC right here. It disappeared, but right here. Actually, I'm going to leave my line here. Stay below that, we're good to go. I see what happened here, guys. I put this on my other chart. I see. And for those of you who are in the Discord, these are the last 3 ideas that we've gave, saying get cautious here, watch for rejection. So if you're in the Discord, things should have went pretty smooth. Look at how much this 5-second RSI opened up, saying be cautious to not here, let's just see. The 5 is the only one that's saying, so the 5 right here will be able to give us decent timing of when or if this rejection will happen. This could bleed over and not flip this, if the 5-second RSI doesn't flip and we keep taking the lows out, that to me says watch for a higher low on kind of the bigger picture right here. Something like that. So let's see this 5-second, because right now the 5-second is saying watch for a higher low here. And it's only the 5-second, but we're picking up, will this 5-second take out our short idea? Because the start of taking this short idea out will be this 5-second play here. So let's see. Does the 5-second form a higher low and these RSIs keep going? Is it going to come take this low and bring these RSIs closer? Okay, we took that low. What's the 5-second? See how the 5-second is still holding up? And the 5-second is starting to get wide, so the 10-second is key right now. 10-second is still saying no. Money flow is what has me sketched out on the scalp short, because we need to remember what's happening on this daily candle. This is where you can this daily candle can easily form into that. Or this daily candle will fully sell off by the end of the day and probably close below even the weekly open. The weekly open is all the way down at 108,650-ish, right? So this is pretty key. And it doesn't need to happen on this day candle. I would prefer it though. I just like the volatility, so I don't really care how it closes. If we close bullish, I would love to see a full body candle close, like we close a full body. If for the bears, I want to see this thing like close below this wick, even lower. It'd be nice if we even close below the weekly open. There's 7 hours remaining on the day. A lot can happen in 7 hours. So both scenarios are still on the table. And if you ever join the stream or you have ideas what I want to do, or if you want me to check out something else, just let me know. We can do whatever. Let's actually check out the rest of the market. What's everything doing? Oil's going. Gold and silver's up. Solana's up 6%. BNB 5%. Let's look at the Bitcoin dominance chart here for a sec. Bitcoin dominance says that we can still go higher, and so what does Bitcoin dominance mean? Usually, Bitcoin dominance is going up when the market is a little bit bearish because people are selling their altcoins into Bitcoin, meaning Bitcoin dominance heads up. When the market starts to get really bullish and people are excited on altcoin season, Bitcoin dominance heads down because people are putting more of their capital in over here into altcoins. Now, when you actually start a bear market, what you'll have is USDT dominance increasing, meaning people are selling their altcoins and their Bitcoin, their Ethereum, they're selling everything back into USDT, which is the stable coin of crypto, which is the biggest stable coin of crypto. You can look at USDC dominance and all that. I just look at Tether because it's the biggest. So you can see Tether has been rising for the last 70 days. If we go to Bitcoin over 70 days, you see how that's kind of funny? Is yeah, we've put in a new all-time high from this, but since USDT started to spike, you see how Bitcoin really hasn't done anything? So how do we know if Bitcoin's really going to start doing something again and really start to go crazy to the upside? We want to come back to our USDT chart, and we want to see USDT dump to the downside. If USDT dumps to the downside, that is very positive for crypto. That most likely means, well, I wouldn't even say most likely, I would say 99%, that means Bitcoin would be pumping. Okay, so we do have a 10-second flip, a 15-second flip right here. Okay, so if you're going to lose this short, it's going to be now. If you're going to start to actually hit the majority of your TPs, it's going to be now. Right here, decision point. Either box one or reclaim, take this. And I'll be right back, guys. Alright, well, congrats if you took the short. And again, I just want to show you guys this style, because this one was easy 2-to-1. This one, easy 2-to-1. We can go on to lose 3 trades now and still be profitable. So if you start your morning like this, or say you caught this one or you caught this one and you hit a 3-to-1, that's where you make the decision on the day. You either shut the day down, maybe you drop the risk amount, or you'll take X amount of that amount and you'll trade with that for the remaining of the day. So let's say I made 3%. I might want to take 0.5% of those profits and trade that for the rest of the day. So if I lose that 0.5% of profits, I shut the day down. And if I keep making money on that, I can keep trading as long as I want. If I want to trade all day long, that's totally fine. That's not being an idiot, because we pulled our profits, we put a little bit aside, and so on. And to me, that's regardless of what's going on. This is to actually be a profitable trader over several years. Of course, if you're just trying to come to the charts and make money in a week, you're going to trade 1,000 times here. But when we're just trying to make money, a scenario like this, you can totally just shut your day down. If I took both of these and I won both of these, I would for sure be shutting her down for a couple hours. I would be setting an alert right on my entry, and that's really it. We'll give some more ideas though. Flipping. To me, these are very easy, not easy, but these are very clear to me too. You either drop through the POC or this springs, and I would say you're going to come back up to fill this supply. Now, can RSIs tell us? Let's see. 10 seconds saying you have a bit more room, 15 seconds saying you have a bit more room. The 1 minute is saying, this is the one that's saying downside. And this is kind of the one that I trust right now, is the 1 minute. The 1 minute is saying downside. So that's the one I'm going to trust right now. Let's zoom this one back out for a second. This all is like, this is all pretty clear to me, guys. You hold the POC, you're good to go. You lose this POC, not good. Like, to me, it really is that simple today. If you lose this POC, I would honestly be targeting down to this POC. First, I would target that weekly open though. So how do we know if a lower high is gonna come? We want to watch all the crosses of the RSIs. So 5 second is not ready yet, 10 seconds not ready yet, 15 seconds not, 30 and 1 minute are good to go. They're good to take this market lower. But we want to get, if we're trying to take a lower high short, we follow it one by one. So the 5 second is giving the dot, but look at the RSIs. These can work. It's not like these can't tank us. These are ones that I never listen to because the RSI hasn't even flipped. So definitely a no-no. We already have our short from the high. So like, that's a silly setup to try to take, regardless of what price action is doing. The 10 minute hasn't flipped yet, or 10 second, and the 15 second hasn't flipped yet. So regardless if it dumps or pumps, this is one that, yeah, that's not a setup to take, and honestly that's a foolish setup to take in my opinion. And look at here, this is the trend line from before. Trying to get above it, but we can't. And I'm not a pattern trader, but for those of you who are pattern traders, the target of a trend line like this is the beginning of the trend line. So the target would be all the way down to the golden pocket if this trend line is legit, right? I'm not really a pattern trader, but if it is legit, the target is all the way down to the bottom of the trend line. And if you've been in my streams, we know that demand flips into supply. And that's exactly what happened here. Look at this. It flipped right into a supply imbalance. Oh, I don't know. That's not there. And I'm not that interested in like the scalp longs yet, just because we haven't even really had like a pullback that's nice enough, not even to the 382. The 382 is about there, and we haven't even had a dump to the 382, so I'm just not interested in it yet. Look at that. So I would rather either wait for shorts or wait for shorts or let the market dump more eventually for me to be interested in taking a scalp long. So what are the RSIs saying? Look at this 1 minute, right? Still wide open. 2 minute, 3 minute, wide open RSIs, bleeding out money flow. The 30-second RSI. Okay, so let's go back here. Let's put these levels. Levels. And this is on the chart. We don't need this anchored VWAP no more. Let's put a new anchored VWAP from the low here. This will be in green. So here's the average volume of this uptrend. It is right around 109,400 right now. What are the low time frame RSIs saying? 5 minute is saying downside, 3 minute is saying downside, 1 minute is saying downside, and the 30-second and lower is saying watch shortly for a spring, watch for bull divs, watch for higher lows. So how do we know if we're going to get a higher low here? Right here. So if we were to get a 5-second green dot, I would say that would be a higher low before taking this. If we can't get the dot before then, that won't happen. So you got the 5-second dot. This is like the only place the higher low can come before continuation still to the downside. So that's kind of the only place if these small time frame RSIs are going to kick this back up, but I still think lower. But that is where it would come if it's actually going to come up here, change market structure. I think lower. Oh, there you go. Okay, so when we just came lower, what did we do? We have a slight 5-second bull div, a slight bull div. No, I just don't like it. Not for me. I'm going to try to find one more setup and then I'll think I'll shut her down. I'll probably jump on a stream again in a few hours. Just got some family over right now. Okay, we have a little bit of shorts opening up and they're all at the low here. All the shorts that open up are at the low. So if you're going to trap shorts, that's where they would be trapped. If you're going to start the accumulation of shorts, meaning like everyone's going to start fueling into shorts to eventually have that mass liquidation later, this is where all the shorts are trapped. So as of right now, the shorts are underwater. Can they bring it back, right? And this is why we use that software. I'll eventually start sharing that software as well. Just waiting for some more people to start watching these and then we'll do a few different things. So as far as do I care if this thing pumps and takes out the highs for the day, like do I feel like frick I should have taken the trade? 100% not. I wouldn't have taken this in any scenario. I wouldn't have taken this. None. So I would miss this 10 out of 10 times. If this actually pumps, I'd miss this 10 out of 10 times because my things are still telling me lower. It doesn't matter what I think. If my strategy and my indicators start to tell me otherwise eventually, then I'll flip the other way. As of right now, I think lower. So the 10 second and 15 second and 30 second RSIs are still green, meaning we can put a higher low in here. We do have these shorts that are trapped, so it would make sense to still trap these shorts. As of right now, I still am leaning on that bearish side, but as of this second, we could spring to take out that high again until these RSIs get closer, letting us know that it's now time to flip. As of right now, the RSIs aren't telling us it's now time to flip, but look at how the 1, 2, and 3 minute RSIs are saying. The 1, 2, and 3 are saying like definitely more downside. The 10, 15, and 30 second are just saying hold off this second because it might need a few more minutes. Okay, the 5 second is getting closer to flip, but I still don't like it because look at the 10 second, 15 second are still open. So again, it's just telling me to sit on my hands, be patient here. And that's why our timing matters. Look at, we were able to just stay out of it, let the chart come to us. So let's see, is that 5 second? Okay, 5 second just flip bearish. It'd be even nicer if we can get that 10 and 15 second. So as far as there being a trade entry right now, there's not. We just sit on our hands still. We know we're back into this supply. If you're gonna put a lower high in, you would look at the supply, you would look at the golden pocket, and you would look at the volume. We can see here that on the side, this is why I like that volume profile. We're right at the high volume node of this. So this is make or break right here. Again, you can still mitigate it. If you mitigate it but hold it, then you're taking that high. So the 10 second can flip whenever. Look how close the 10 second RSI is. The 30 second still needs some time. Okay, we got some shorts closing and longs opening. So those shorts down here are fully trapped and a lot of them are closing their positions now. I can see that on my Exo side that a lot of them are closing their positions. So let's get rid of this. How do we know if a rejection is going to happen here? Okay, our 10-second just flipped. Look at how close the 15-second is. So as far as the confirmation, if a lower high is going to come in, to me it's going to be the 30-second red dot. So I see that these are crossing. This still hasn't crossed yet, and I'm really interested in how this reacts. This is one where it's a little risky to front run the dot, but this is where the dot just came in, so it's now, this is make or break of the decision time. So you can see on that 30-second, this is one, you can see that this is such a key rejection zone that stop loss, to me, can almost be moved immediately. So far that 30-second has gave the reaction. See, this is what I don't like. The 15-second and 30-second still haven't flipped. This is why, to me, it's important that stop loss to entry. If, like, this is high intent scalp trading, guys, you gotta remember. Completely different in different trading scenarios. Like if you're intraday trading, or if you're trying to take macro trades, you definitely don't be moving that stop loss when you're taking macro trades, because you had a macro idea, so let it play out. These are scalp trades off the 30-second, 10-second, 5-second. So imagine you took a trade on a 5-hour. Several, like 10 candles of that is 50 hours, where on the 5-second, it's a matter of a few minutes and everything starts to change. So this is where we watch this lower high. So how do we know if a lower high is going to come? This 5-second dot. If you get this 5-second dot, that confirms this is the only place for that lower high to come. This is make or break on this 5-second. Can this 5-second break us down, or this is all going to be invalidated? Right here, right here, right here. This is key. Very key, or you're running for that 786, and you're probably going to keep running for that high, I would say. Very critical right here, this green line. Back right at the golden pocket. We're right at that golden pocket. We have a little bit of longs coming in, nothing crazy. Okay, this 10-second dot right here, make or break. Oh, I don't have it on the 10-second, I have it on the 5. Right here, make or break, running for that 786 or dump from here. Okay, you might be making a bear div on the 10-15 second. Still at the golden pocket, swing failure. This is so key, guys. This next candle that opens is key. And if you're looking at a golden pocket rejection, this next candle is everything. The next 30 seconds here. Super key. A golden pocket, potential swing failure. If you don't reject here, I would say you're going to that 786. Okay, we're still going. Yeah, these are all just saying to still watch for that rejection, but it's just a little bit. The one thing that I do like about a potential rejection is this 5 and 10 second RSI is starting to open up, meaning you can see the purple line. But this 30 second just looks no good. Okay, this is what we'll do. This 1 minute dot. If this 1 minute dot confirms, I would say you're going to get that 30 second RSI coming back down to the red. So I would say the 1 minute dot means everything. The 1 minute dot. Okay, it was 786, took the 786 out, we're at the liquidity grab. We're approaching the liquidity grab. Let's put this on my other small time frames. Do a little zoom out. Okay, grabbing the liquidity. This is, okay, so you see how this 30 second RSI can flip at any moment? This is what we really care about. So we want to see, is there anything? Okay, 30 second flipped. 30 second RSI just flipped. And here, I'm actually going to put, just so you don't think we're cheating here or something, we're going to put this 30 second RSI line of where we said that the only potential short setup would have came was right here. So we're going to put that there too, just so we can see. Liquidity taken, zoom out, zoom out. Demand is created. Once supply is taken, demand is created. That's exactly what happened here. We're approaching that naked daily point of control. There's also an imbalance right here. And I can tell you guys here, like, this is where I just don't rush. I'm not interested of catching it like perfectly here. I would rather just let it see that it's actually going to work before even trying to. So I might wrap the stream up there. And just looking at it, if you were to take every single one, you'd be, I would say, minimum up 4%. Probably those are at 2 to 1s, losing one at 1%. I would say minimum 2.8%. Minimum. So yeah, not too bad of a stream, I don't think. Let's give some ideas. So rejection zone 1 is the naked point of control. Rejection zone 2 is a little bigger because we could easily swing fail come up just for, and in hindsight it's actually just rejection from the golden pocket. So we're gonna do, maybe we'll do this, something like that. And The only problem is if you chill in this longer, to me, you're not going to respect the golden pocket. You're going to come up to that 786. But if it's only a quick wick, that would still make sense to me. So we'll leave that. 786. Naked point of control. And then monthly open. And monthly open was the idea that we were talking about before. We need to take this monthly open out. If we don't, these aren't actual higher lows, and it's just bullshit, and you're going to come back for this low. If this is an actual higher low, we need to come take that monthly open out. And then to the downside, first area of interest I would be watching is the POC. Swing failure into the weekly open. Whoops. Let's move these over. Swing failure into the weekly open. And we could be looking, I'm going to end the stream, so we're not going to pay attention to that. This one's a little tricky. Let's just see where. I would say high volume node. Maybe tap into that a little bit. And then that's probably all I would give, because if you don't hold from there, I would say, like, you could look at your 786 bounce. That would be somewhere around like the demand imbalance. But I would target the 2-day after. So I'm going to put all of this into a group. What is this line? Okay. And then for zoom out, if you guys just want some levels. All right. That's a wrap.